Hi everyone. So here we're going to continue from the previous first part of the set of tutorials, and now we're going to go over descriptive statistical summaries of a data frame. And I'm just going to go over some commands here that are usually very useful. So first, let's go with the descriptive stats command, which is called summary. And we can do it for all the variables. If we just do it like this, the one I had just for one specific variable. So just type a summary, type it out. I'm copying, but you can type it out. And then run. If you hit enter here, it's just going to go to the next line. It's not going to run. If you hit enter in the console, it will run. But because this is a file, it's a text file, you see, and I can save all my code here, and that's what I suggest you do as well. Then go saving along the way so you don't lose it. So here you see all the summary for all the variables in the bottom, the output of this summary function. And so, for example, let's see, well, this is X is just the, this is not a real variable. It's just the counter for the, kind of like an ID. So let's go to a real variable, age, and then we can see the minimum age in the data set is 44. So this is not for young people, this is for the older people. So minimum is 44 and the maximum is 88. So you're kind of understanding the population of your data set. The median age is 70 and the median is 71. And you have quartiles as well here, which we talked about, 75th percent and 25th percent. And then there are the other variables. If the variable is categorical, it's and also not only categorical, but in the text or nominal, you're going to see a little bit different because we don't really have, you can't calculate a mean from a category. So you just see the length, which is the number of records, 101 records, and then you just see that its class is character. So that's for the COPD severity variable. Now you got to be careful because some variables are in numbers, but they're actually categories. So if we go to, for example, gender. Gender is a category. In this case, there's only male and female, but it is written in a number, 1 or 0. So it is we are able to calculate the median or average. Some, one person is 1, another person is 0, and so on. But these are not real calculations. There is no mean gender like 0.6. This doesn't make any sense in this case. So you got to be careful for the variables that are actually in numbers, but they actually mean categories. So, and for that, you have to know what the data set is essentially. Smoking is 1 and 2. So these are all smokers, and 1 is stopped previously smoked, and then 2 is continues to smoke. So also there are calculations here, but they're not meaningful. If you wanted to do a summary of just one particular variable like age, you do this reference to the data set. I'm up top here, and then you start typing the variable. And notice that the computer recognizes what you're trying to do and gives you suggestions, and you can go along and select with them, and that's very useful. And here, just do a summary descriptive statistics of one variable at a time. This may be useful. So another thing we can do is, we kind of have done this before, using the head just to see the first values of a variable or set of variables. And note that we can do different statistical measures separately, so we can get the mean and standard deviation of a variable by using the mean function. So there's a mean function. It's like this, and then you get just the mean if you just need that one value. And if you just want the standard deviation, which actually does not come out in the summary, note that the summary does not have a standard deviation of a variable. Instead, the deviation is applied to a variable, to a numeric variable. So you can do that with age, and then here we have a standard deviation. So, and of course, standard deviation is useful in relation to the data distribution around the mean. So the mean is 70, and the standard deviation is 7 0.9. So a few, let's see what else is maybe useful. Oh, tabulating the variable. So when we have a categorical variable, what we want to do is maybe tabulate it. So let's tabulate the variable gender. So here we have smoking, but let's try gender and see. So you just run the table command, and then you run that, and you get this result here. Now it might be a little bit weird, but what this is the first 0, and the bottom here says 36, meaning there's 36 records that are 0 and 65 that are 1. So 0 is for female and 1 is for male. So there's 36 females and 65 males. So males are kind of overly represented, or at least twice as much represented in this data set than females. For whatever reason, I cannot guarantee this is a representative data set also. So this is just for practice purposes. So those are some of the data summary manipulations in our studio. And I'm going to pause here. We're going to continue later with further useful functions of our studio for data types and creating new variables and aggregating calculations.